Hello, my name is Tanya Tang, and today I'll be comparing and contrasting the digestive system in three different phylums. Phylum Porifera, also known as sponge, phylum Cnidaria, also known as hydra, and phylum Annelida, also known as earthworms. So as we can see here, this is a longitudinal section of a porifera. This is the incurrent canal, this is the radial canal, and this is where the sponge cell is, where it's inside the central cavity. Now on top of the sponge, there's actually an osculum. So porifera means pore-bearing, or the presence of little holes. So we can see these little holes over here. In sponges, these little holes are called ostia. Porifera does not have a digestive system, therefore these ostia helps the sponges obtain food. So what happens is that the ostia will allow the seawater from the outside to be pulled in through the sponge and into the incurrent canal. The seawater will go from here and into the radial canal. And from the radial canal, the contents over here will be released into the central cavity, which is located right here. It will be released into the sponge cell, and then it will flow out through the osculum. Over here in the radial canal, it will be lined up with cells called choanocytes, choano meaning collar and cytes meaning cells. These choanocytes will use their collar to collect little particles in the seawater as it flows through the radial canal. Water will then continue on and go out of the radial canal into the sponge cell, which is located in the central cavity. And the water here will flow and go out the osculum on top of the sponge. So because porifera does not have any digestive system, which means there's no stomach, no mouth, no intestines, every cell has to do it for themselves. Every cell has to obtain and capture their own pieces of food as it moves through the different canals with the help of choanocytes. So the choanocytes are actually the cells that capture the food. So that is how a porifera obtain food. On the right here, we have a cnidaria. This is a whole mount cnidaria. So you can see here with the blue colored, this is called the tentacles. And number 2 is right here, which is the anal or the mouth, which is combined into one. Right here is a cross section of a cnidaria. This is the epidermis. This is the gastrodermis, and this is the gastrovascular cavity. Now, cnidaria are very, very interesting animals. They have toxic in them so that they can capture and kill their prey to obtain their food. Predatory animals have cnidocytes or nematocytes. Nematocytes are stinging cells to help them capture their prey. So what happens is they sting the prey, and the prey will either be immobilized or be killed. And after that, they will be able to eat the animals or the prey. They can be found in unpolluted fresh water, ponds or lakes and streams, and in both temperature and tropical areas. They are diploblastic, meaning they have 2 tissue layers, an endoderm and an ectoderm. An endoderm becomes an gastrodermis, and an ectoderm becomes an epidermis. So how do hydras obtain food? Hydras have one mouth and anal, which leads into the gastrovascular cavity right here. But they do not have a stomach or digestive system, just like the porifera. So the food basically goes inside the mouth and into the gastrovascular cavity, and then the mouth will close. And the cells of the gastrodermis, which is right here, will secrete an enzyme or some acids, and it will help break down the food into macromolecules. And then the food will get absorbed across the gastrodermis and distributed throughout the whole hydra. Next, we will be talking about the annelida. This is a cross-section of an annelida, and this is a dissection of an annelida. Annelidas do not have jaws and teeth. So what they do is they have these muscular pharynx to suck in the food from the buccal cavity. This is where the food will enter in the buccal cavity. And then they will pull the food through into the esophagus, and they'll store the food inside the crop. And then they will also grind it up in the gizzard right here. So the gizzard actually acts as teeth. And after it's all mush, it will go down into the intestines, and it will just flow into the anal. So this is how an annelida obtain its food. Thank you.